From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Brought to you by SSPTV and the Standard Speaker.
The decision has been made. There will be armed guards manning metal detectors and protecting students at all elementary schools in Greater Hazleton. Armed guards in the schools, our top story on News 13 for this Friday. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Bazinski. When elementary students in Greater Hazleton return to school at the end of summer, they will be greeted by metal detectors as well as armed law enforcement officers.
Kevin.
Yes.
Mr. Mahalik.
Yes.
And Mr. Early.
Yeah.
Motion passes 5-4.
The Hazleton Area School Board voted 5-4 Thursday evening that the elementary schools in the Hazleton Area School District be secured by armed guards. While this decision was passed, some board members say they voted no based on personal beliefs and feelings that this would create an illusion that the students are guaranteed to be kept safe by these guards. Members who voted yes believe that armed guards are the better option because they have a better chance of protecting the students from outsiders coming into the schools.
The motion did pass. We're going to begin the process of posting and screening and interviewing and eventually hiring those guards for the position. Again, it was a lively and a discussion based upon what's best for our students and the overall safety of our district.
Also at last night's meeting, the board approved to move forward and remove the mold that was recently found in the roof of the new Academy of Sciences building. Well, most students start their day by hopping on the bus and heading to school, but online classrooms are going more popular, and a Harrisburg-based cyber charter school is opening up in our area. Matthew Petrillo gives us a tour of the new cyber teaching facility in southern Tamaqua.
When kids enroll in Commonwealth Connections Academy,
Commonwealth Connections Academy has been advertising for students currently studying in Schuylkill County.
But this is just a gem of the building. It's going to provide us adequate square footage.
Maurice Fleury, the school's chief education officer, said they recently bought the building that houses the old car museum in southern Tamaqua. He says this facility will be where the teachers will virtually teach. And
if a student wants some face-to-face service, some face-to-face contact, we have a facility available for them to come to and meet with a teacher.
By next year, 60 teachers will be working from this 21st century school.
There's an interaction with us that's very unique in a schooling environment. We look at that parent as a partner with us to help make these educational decisions for their child, and a lot of families find that quite refreshing.
Now, he says that his cyber school is just as good, if not better, than traditional brick and mortar schools. But a national study conducted on charter schools says otherwise. It shows that Pennsylvania charter schools lag significantly behind their public counterparts. In particular, the study, which was conducted by Stanford University, shows bricks and mortar charter schools perform significantly better than cyber charter schools when both are compared to public schools. And the study blames the lag on cyber charter schools. Devora Davis, a researcher on the study, wrote that they found, quote, a difference between bricks and mortar and cybers. Bricks and mortar were doing better than cyber. That's no surprise to Tamaqua's school chief. She says students learn from each other just as much as they do from a textbook.
It is not for everybody. All students are not disciplined. They need more interaction with teachers and perhaps more activities with students.
To that end, Commonwealth Connections say they do have field trips. And if you want to join a sports team, you can still do that at your public school. Matthew Petrillo, News 13, Tamaqua.
Well, kids from all over our area will be grabbing their swim goggles and will have their running shoes ready at the starting line. The Hazleton YMCA will be holding its 4th annual Anthracite Youth Splash and Dash at Mock Chunk Lake Park and Jim Thorpe starting 9 a.m. Saturday. The race is for kids 18 and younger. Racers will be swimming, running, and then swimming and running again. And don't worry, Mom and Dad, there will be an adult race on Sunday. Kittens' parents will run different lengths depending upon their ages.
Different distances for different age groups. 8 and unders have to run a quarter mile after the swimming portion. 9 and 10s run a half mile. 11 and ups run a mile. And the swim distance is between a 100 or a 200. At all the youth races, we promote having fun and self-improvement. You know, it is a competition, but they're there to have fun, and we track their progress. So you want to always improve your run times. That's the whole point of the race series, is that there'll be so many opportunities for them to run a mile and see their own personal time and try to bring it down from one race to the next.
Now, registration is closed at the Y itself, but they will have an on-site registration for kids at 8 and 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Registration for Sunday's adult race at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Still ahead on News 13, still some great summer weather in store, though we will see a slight drop in temperatures. We'll tell you about it in News 13 weather. But first, you may have to dodge some construction, but organizers say that Hazleton's Fun Fest is definitely on this year. We'll have details when News 13 continues. It's usually the biggest event of the year in Greater Hazleton, but some folks were worried that downtown construction would derail it. Christina Papa tells us that Fun Fest is still good to go, even though folks may have to navigate some big orange construction cones to enjoy it.
Usually Fun Fest looks a little something like this. But if you take a walk down Broad Street today, it'll look like this. And this. So with all this construction, could that mean no Fun Fest?
Fun Fest is definitely happening this year.
On Monday, members of Hazleton's Chamber of Commerce met with PennDOT and construction managers to figure out how folks will party around the cones.
Construction will continue, but during the Fun Fest weekend, it will cease, and they will tidy it all up, make sure it's a safe venue, and we will go on as we always have done in the past.
The day of the parade, all the fun will start right here on Winters Avenue, where the kids, the floats, the balloons, they'll all set up right here, and they'll make their route to Broad Street. None of these cones or construction workers will be here the day of the parade. And that means by the time the parade gets to Laurel Street, people on the sidewalks and in the parade will be able to enjoy it without all this commotion.
Even though construction will be at a standstill for those 2 days in September, that doesn't mean the construction will be complete. Folks may have to walk around a couple orange fences.
I would be just a little concerned about safety for children and people, maybe the elderly. I think a close eye has to be kept on where the walkways are.
Hazleton's Chamber President Donna Palermo wants to reassure folks that PennDOT plans to have the roads paved, not finished, but safe enough to walk around. Besides, with an estimated 70,000 people making their way to Broad Street for Fun Fest, you probably won't see the road anyway.
Actually, with Fun Fest, there's always a little bit more traffic because they do shut us down at Vine Street, so.
Folks don't want to worry about the roads the day of the festival.
I just want to have fun in the Fun Fest.
That's why Hazleton's Chamber is doing all it can to make sure this year's Fun Fest is just that, a fun festival. Christina Papa, News 13, Greater Hazleton.
It's always a good time. Time now for our regional weather from the National Weather Service. Checking the radar, pretty clear, but that may change as we head toward the evening. The heat and humidity may cause a few pop-up thunderstorms. Creative condition is by Jarielis Castillo, a student at Hazleton Elementary Middle School, and she's auditioning to do the weather and says it will be a beautiful day with a high of 90 degrees, and she's just about right. Now let's take a look at News 13 weather from the National Weather Service for Greater Hazleton for tonight. Isolated showers and thunderstorms with a low around 70. Saturday, cloudy with afternoon showers and thunderstorms likely, a high near 81. The showers and thunderstorms dissipate through the evening, then a low around 64. And heading to Schuylkill County for tonight, isolated showers and thunderstorms with a low around 73. On Saturday, partly sunny with afternoon showers and thunderstorms likely, a high near 87. Showers and thunderstorms continue at night with the low down to 66. Well, if you head to the Schuylkill County Fair this year, you might end up singing happy birthday, maybe even having some cake. It turns 30 this year, and as Matthew Petrillo tells us, organizers are hoping for record crowds.
Happy birthday. Hey, it's not too early for that, is it? Well, not much has changed over the past 3 decades, says Kim Morgan of the Schuylkill County Fair Association.
Things that have changed over the past 30 years as well. First of all, we're on our second fairgrounds at this point. We had originally started 25 years ago over at Penn State Schuylkill campus.
And after 5 years of growing nonstop, they thought they needed some new digs. So you guys have had every fair here since 1983 when you bought the property. How much has it grown since then?
Oh, it has grown in numbers in terms of participation. I think maybe in the first year we might have seen about 5,000 to 7,000 people. At this point, we're looking somewhere between the neighborhood of approximately 25,000 to 30,000 people coming.
And expect a higher quality food here.
We have chosen to be a little bit more selective in terms of our food because sometimes when you go to fairs, you see the same old fare, hamburgers, hot dogs, things like that. Well, we've got pork sandwiches, we have beef sandwiches, we've got strawberry sundaes, peach sundaes, things like chocolate shakes and funnel cakes.
I'm getting hungry. But what would the Schuylkill County Fair be without a little bit of living, breathing bacon?
It's fun to watch an 8-year-old take a 250-pound hog and walk it around a show ring and get it to do exactly what they want it to do. And this child maybe weighs about 60 pounds at most, and they're working with an animal on 4 legs that is 3-4 times their human body weight.
Now every day someone different is going to be performing on this stage right behind me. And one night to get really excited about is Tuesday, July 30th. That's when some local celebrities who are natives of Schuylkill County will be out here, and she wouldn't give us too much detail about what's going to be happening then, but she did say it's going to get a little bit messy. Now that's something I want to see. Matthew Petrillo, News 13, Schuylkill Haven.
And we've got a quick note about a fundraiser that we've told you about on News 13. Tomorrow night's benefit for Marion Palucci, scheduled for the Tresco Fire Hall, has been canceled and will be rescheduled. Now, for information, or if you already bought tickets, you can call the number that's there on your screen. And let's check the winning midday lottery numbers. Good luck if you played. The Daily, 133. Big 4, 6921. Quinto, 51370. And the Treasure Hunt, 5, 7, 12, 18, 25. Hope you won.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's social news. First tonight, happy 50th birthday to Vince Doria. This wish comes from Mom, Alan, Aaron, Rebecca, Abby, and Jordan. Happy 18th birthday to Rebecca Joy Doria. She celebrates on Saturday from Mom, Alan, Aaron, Vince, Abby, and Jordan. Happy 13th birthday to Fran Palladino. She celebrates on Saturday from Grammy, Mom, Dad, Denise, Linda, Jimmy, John, Barb, Chris Jr., and Riley. And in tonight's Talk of the Town report, Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors will be playing this weekend at the Sovereign Majestic Theater. Tickets are only $15. For tickets, information, or show times, please call 570-628-4647. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Tom Wisniewski of McAdoo. Private services will be held at the convenience of the family. The Stanley E. Anilowski Funeral Home is assisting the family with the arrangements. L. John Jack Fuzzy Fadulo of Hazleton. Arrangements will be announced by the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. David Chaposky of Whitehaven. The Lehman Family Funeral Service is in charge of arrangements. Anna Dulcie, formerly of Hazleton. Arrangements will be announced by the Boyle Funeral Home. And Mercedes M. Castillo of Hazel Township. Services were held today from the Belt Petrilli Funeral Home. Tonight's obituaries have been brought to you by the Smilax Floral Shop located on 15th Street in Hazleton. For delivery to all local funeral homes, call 570-454-0111. And by Doves of White, serving Schuylkill and surrounding counties, call 570-205-1597.
SSPTV Sports on News 13 with Fred Barletta Jr. and Ron Marchetti.
Alex Rodriguez has started very slowly in his rehab assignment, particularly down in single A. He's having a tough time getting the ball out of the infield. His bat started to come alive when he went to Double-A with Reading, and last night he was up in Music for his first game at the Triple-A level. Now that caused a little bit of excitement, and to say the least, A-Rod did not disappoint. Our Mike Madry was there. He caught all the action, and, well, A-Rod looked like A-Rod.
The reception of Alex Rodriguez was in question. How would Rail Rider fans feel about the 38-year-old Yankee who allegedly took steroids during his career? All those questions were swept under the rug once Rodriguez stepped to the plate.
I'm excited. I mean, we can't get ahead of ourselves. You know, we still got another big challenge, which is the last 3 days. And I just want to make sure I stay in the moment, stay focused, and continue to take one pitch at a time while I'm here.
Those cheers you were wondering about, they got louder. In his first at-bat, Rodriguez connected with the first pitch fastball and drove it all the way to the warning track in center field. And then in his second at-bat, A-Rod drove that ball to the same spot, this time just a few inches deeper, for a home run.
I mean, that one felt good. The first swing felt good as well. You know, anytime, like I told you guys earlier today, that I can get the ball up in the air, especially center field and right center. That's a good sign. I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want rollers to third and short. That's a bad sign. Anytime I get the ball in the air, I mean, that's what I've worked so hard with over the last 5 or 6 years with Kevin Long, is fly balls to left center field and over to right field pole. So, yeah, that's a good sign.
In the field, A-Rod got one screaming line drive hit his way in which he was unable to make the grab. That was all the Yankees' third baseman saw. It is still unclear what his role will be back in New York.
You want to get as much action as possible. I mean, as many at-bats, as many ground balls, as many opportunities to run balls out. Hopefully, over the next few days, I get some ground balls.
Alex Rodriguez told reporters he expects to be in the New York Yankees lineup on Monday, so expect A-Rod to be in Scranton until the weekend. Now, A-Rod's suspension may be put off until next year, according to MLB. So if A-Rod can come to the Yankees and be a spark plug, that could be a huge addition to a Yankees team who is already 6 games out in the AL East standings.
I'm close to 38 now, so just trying to get a little smarter, a little bit more conservative. I think the 20 days was something that was good for me, because I knew that there was a timetable and you couldn't rush, and I think that's important in a process like this.
If Rodriguez can step into his past form, batting around 270 and hit a home run here and there, it will be a boost, no question, for the Yankees. But the bigger question is, will it be enough to power the Yankees into the postseason? Mike Madry, News 13 Sports, Music.
Yes, and oh, by the way, the Rail Riders win the game. Almost an afterthought to what took place, but we'll see what happens. The Yankees are hoping A-Rod could be ready maybe as early as next week. We'll wait and see. As far as Russ Kanzler, he had himself a big night for Indianapolis. He had 2 extra base hits, including a triple, and Kanzler is not the master of the triple by any means, but last night he came through, but it wasn't enough. He had 2 of the hits. There were only 7 in the game for Indianapolis. They lose to Gwinnett. Meanwhile, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs get edged by Columbus 3-2. The final in that one. There's your schedule of International League games going forward to this weekend, including, of course, A-Rod this weekend up at PNC Park in Music. Tonight's sports is brought to you by Mountain Speedway. Here's a look at this weekend's action. It's going to be busy. The racing will begin at 6, so plenty of action this Saturday. Grandstand admission only $10. Kids 10 and under are free. And if you're an active military or a student, even senior discount, $2 off the price of admission. There's the website and the phone numbers. You can call them and get all the information on the excitement of racing down at Mountain Speedway.
This heat wave is almost over. Hi, everybody, on this July 19th Short Shots. No doubt, this was a slow week in sports, so tonight's show is abbreviated. But we still got to wrap it up, so let's do it. Last Friday, Russ Kanzler was picked up by the Pittsburgh Pirates and assigned to their AAA minor league club in Indianapolis. The Valley West 14-year-olds claimed the District 4 Babe Ruth Championship. They are now competing in the PA State Tournament at Tri-Township in Wrightstown, and guaranteed 4 games in a 17-pool play format. The Valley West 10-11-year-old Little League All-Star team won the District 18 championship and are also competing in the state tournament at Northampton. The Valley West 11-12-year-olds lost to Warwick Township in section play in Freeland and then lost on the following night, also in Freeland, so their nice run, which included a district title, ended. What else? Well, how about Alyssa Balicki? She bowled a perfect 300 game while competing in the Pennsylvania Junior Bowling Tournament many miles from here before a half dozen pro bowlers. Balicki is a senior at Hazelton Area High, and of course, on the Lady Cougars bowling team, it was Alyssa's first 300 game, but I'm sure there will be more. And speaking of first, Phil Mickelson finally won a golf tournament. His first victory in Europe, winning the Scottish Open. The Boston Celtics traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Brooklyn Nets in a 9-player, 3-draft pick swap. San Francisco Giants pitcher Tim Lincecum, sporting a new haircut, hurled a 148-pitch no-hitter against the Padres in San Diego. The American League defeated the National League in the All-Star Game 3-0, but the big story in that one was the tribute received by Mariano Rivera, who is the greatest closer of all time. After Neil Diamond sang live between the mound and home, played Sweet Caroline in the middle of the 8th, Rivera, called Mo by his teammate, trotted in from the bullpen to pitch the bottom of the 8th. All players in both dugouts stayed off the field and applauded along with the standing sellout crowd at Citi Field in New York. 4. The Sandman, who stood alone on the mound. The standing ovation lasted for 2 full minutes, in which Rivera touched his heart with his Yankee cap and acknowledged at least 3 times both teams and the crowd. Mo did not get the save in this one, but he did pitch a perfect 8th to win the game's MVP award. Joe Nathan got the save in this one. However, in 10 All-Star games, Rivera had never given up an earned run along with his 4 saves. Even if you hate the Yankees, you gotta like Mariano Rivera, who now has a record 638 career saves and counting. Mother of God. Till Monday. Stay loose.
And here's what our media partner, The Standard Speaker, is working on for tomorrow's edition. Finally, there's relief in sight to the heat wave, but will it get hot again? You're going to read all about it in the Saturday edition of The Standard Speaker. Plenty more news and information headed your way on News 13. There's a new option for traditional schooling for students in our region. That story and much more news when the 13 crew comes right back.